This episode of Tech News Weekly is brought to you by Braintree. If you're working on a mobile app and searching for a simple payment solution, check out Braintree. With one simple integration, you can offer your customers every way to pay, period. To learn more, and for your first $50,000 in transactions fee-free, go to BraintreePayments.com/TNW.
Starting Tech News Weekly in 3, 2, 1.
Hey everybody, welcome to Tech News Weekly. I'm your host Andrew Zarian, and we are back. We are live, and we got a rowdy bunch for you guys today. It's going to be a very good show today, I promise you. I cannot promise you that.
Yeah, because we're
I'm
so
gonna take
rowdy.
it back. I'm going to take it back. I'm not going to promise you that, but we're going to attempt to do a decent show here today. With me, as always, in an undisclosed location, John Bubb.
Hi.
You had to give up the penthouse, huh?
Yeah. Got too damn expensive because you wouldn't pay me enough.
Couldn't afford those payments.
You cut those damn payments and, man, money goes away so fast.
But now you're...
Excuse me.
Can we bleep that on the show? That's great. You see, you know when you're rusty when that's the move that you do. You know you haven't done a show in a while. I'm hoping the next guy that I introduce doesn't do that, but there's no saying what'll happen. Josh Coleman. How you doing, Josh?
Good afternoon. It's great to be here, to be back on TNW, and I'm excited to talk about Google I/O.
You're such a pro.
Look at that, pro.
You're such a pro. You're such a pro.
That's right.
How you been? I haven't seen you on the show for a while.
It's been a while. No, I've been very busy, and you said, hey, would you like to do TNW? And I said, of course, to come talk with you guys. I mean, I think the last time we did it was the Apple Watch announcement.
It was probably the Apple Watch announcement. We've been taking some time off from the show. We're going to be redoing some stuff on the show. The show's back, by the way, guys. We're continuing to do the show. We haven't canceled it. We just needed a couple.
No, we just
days
had
off.
Well, I had to move, so
Well, you got really sick.
Last month with my move.
You got really sick.
Yeah, I was sick too and whatnot. So I'm definitely feeling better. I've moved now, so things are finally getting back to normal.
Back to normal, slowly.
Yeah.
Slowly, but it'll get there. Hey, we have so much to talk about today.
Yeah.
Google I/O. Some people loved it. Some people hated it. Some people were expecting more. I actually was kind of happy with the announcements because they said that they're going to fix all the stuff that's broken. So before you add stuff, let's fix it. So we'll talk about that. Plus a bunch of other stuff on the show. But before we do that, we want to talk about a new sponsor to Tech News Weekly, and that's Braintree. You guys have heard me talk about Braintree for, I want to say, 6-7 months now. What is Braintree? Braintree is for mobile app developers. If you're developing an app like Josh is a developer for websites. This also works for you too. If you're developing an app, if you're developing a website, and you want to create a mobile payment method, Braintree is a place to go. Uber, Airbnb, Hotel Tonight, Living Social, the list goes on and on of places that accept Braintree, that are using Braintree. So what it does, it's a full stack payment solution, and it supports all different types of payments that your customers will want to use, starting with PayPal, Apple Pay, Bitcoin, all different credit cards, hundreds of different currencies. So rather than having to implement multiple payment systems, you could just implement Braintree, which is a PayPal company, by the way, and it'll accept all the payments. The line of code is super simple. It's literally a couple lines of code. You can get it up and running within a couple of minutes, and if you're having any problems, you could call them. They'll help you out. They'll guide you. They'll hold your hand throughout the entire process. The other thing about Braintree is that it issues a token, and I've spoken to John about this a bunch of times on how the token system works. So people don't get your credit card information. They actually get like an authorization of sorts, and they authorize it, but your credit card information is totally safe and secure. You don't have to worry about hackers. You don't have to worry about losing that information to somebody else. And here's the awesome thing about Braintree. If you're an app developer or if you're a company that wants to implement something like this, your first 50,000 transactions are fee-free. If you go to BraintreePayments.com/TNW, that's BraintreePayments.com/TNW, the first 50,000 transactions fee free. So you know what? That's a long-term use. If you're an up-and-coming company, you're a startup, you could just try them out and see how you like it. This is a great service. I mean, Josh, you would use this.
Yeah, I mean, totally, especially with all the different currencies now, with those, especially those cryptocurrencies. I mean, the Bitcoins and the Doge probably work with it too. So I guess it adds like another layer of security with this whole transitioning from I've used credit cards and cash to pay for everything, and now I'm moving to digital.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great company, PayPal company. BraintreePayments.com/TNW, first 50,000 transactions fee free. I want to thank Braintree for supporting the GFQ network and, of course, TNW. This is, they contacted me and they said, we love what you're doing, Andrew. We love it. You guys are the best. And we said, we love you too. And then we hugged. That's how I do all my business relationships.
So beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Braintree. So let's talk about Google I/O. So this was exactly what people anticipated it to be, and it was not going to be. It was not going to be a huge announcement. It wasn't. You weren't going to have these blockbuster new features implemented in Google, in Android, or whatever else that they're doing. It was more of a bug fix and kind of streamlining everything together. So let's go down the line, and I guess we'll all comment on what was announced. Android M, John. Let's start off with this. Pretty much, they concentrated on the permission settings for app requirements. So rather than every time you start an application or start a feature, it pops.
Yeah,
in
basically
this thing.
what it was is that when you went to install an application, you would have that screen pop up that said, these are all the permissions that this app requires.
Terrible.
And it was kind of confusing because there was just so many different settings, and now they've really simplified that. And instead of having a screen right there to have to look through and try to figure everything out, whenever an app needs permission for something, it'll request it now, much as it does on iOS now. When you open an application and it needs access to your photos or your contacts or what have you.
Yeah, so you can't in Android. So when you install it, you see all these permissions, and I think that's good. So now you just manually, authorize certain features. If there are multiple applications out there that, let's say I'm using Snapchat, for example, and I don't want it to access my camera, or my contacts. I want to only be able to see what other people are sending me. That is something that this would come in handy, where you just decline the permission to access your camera or your contacts list. Google
Maps makes it so much more simpler for people that don't understand the way that permissions work and all the different stuff when you install an application.
Yeah. Google Maps, offline maps. This has been a big problem for a lot of people, actually. And I didn't know it was a big problem until I got my Samsung phone, and there's a Maps app that comes with it. I'm going to find the name right now. It's called Here. And the thing about Here is that it allows offline usage of the map. And I was like, oh, who cares? Everybody's connected to 4G. You know what? Totally came in handy for me, because I was driving somewhere, didn't have Justice's car, and I needed the map, and I couldn't access it because guess what? I didn't have any signal. So offline
you need
mapping.
to get better service or
it's
something.
Awful.
Man.
You know what? I live in New York, and you would imagine. Go ahead. Go ahead.
This whole, I think Google Maps offline is for when you're in like a remote location in like Africa. I don't think it has anything to do with us.
Yes, it does.
Does it?
I'm telling you right now, I was somewhere in Long Island going to my doctor, and and they moved the office, and I had no idea how to get there. And my mapping did not work. Google Maps did not work at all.
You have the worst luck.
User.
Do you want to? You know what, John? You've known me for how long? 6 years now? Yes, I do. I have the worst luck when it comes to this. It's actually god-awful.
But this is a very cool feature. It'll work in airplane mode as well, so that even if you're traveling somewhere, it'll have all the directions, turn-by-turn directions, and it'll even give you voice turn-by-turn directions, which is really cool. It'll download all that information, so it's offline. You don't have to worry about having spotty cell coverage or anything like that. Or if you're flying somewhere, you can have real-time updates. And what's even cooler, it goes a little bit further in the sense that it'll actually grab information about points of interest along your route. So if there's certain things that you've saved to your map, such as museums and whatnot, it'll actually save the information for those locations, such as, what time the museum is open till, how much something costs. It'll actually save all that information so that you can access that as well offline.
Yeah, that's actually really, really handy. The other thing that was barely mentioned, and I was actually surprised, is Android TV. You know, they made this whole hoopla last year about the revival of Google TV, and it's going to be Android TV now. They're going to really try this time, and not really happening. There's not much momentum and much news with Android TV at this point. Senior Google VP of products spent about 30 seconds on Android TV at the event, pretty much saying that the operating system is going to be released on Sony and Sharp TVs in the US, and that they're doing pretty well with Philips in Europe. And I thought that was the funniest comment, and I'll tell you why. You know when something is failing when they're like, yeah, and it's doing well in Europe.
Yeah.
You know, it's like that band you've never heard of. Like, oh yeah, the Chickpeas. No, nobody knows them here, but in Europe they're like number 2 in the Swedish charts. It was like one of those. They also mentioned
I'm huge in Japan.
I'm huge in Japan. Yeah, I'm huge in Japan.
Some wrestlers are.
Yeah. So he also mentioned NVIDIA Shield streaming console. That's about $200. And that actually
That
looks
was
pretty
weird
nice.
because they did all this so quickly. It was there for 30 seconds and that was it. For the rest of the 2 hours, Android TV did not come up whatsoever. We
Yeah.
didn't even get any sort of release dates on the operating system or anything like that. It's just like, okay, so you don't really care about Android TV then, do you?
Yeah. It was Josh, you're like me, very much
Yes.
like me actually, and
Very
it's kind of
much.
scary.
Okay.
And you buy all these like TV,
No, I
add-ons,
used
these set-top
to.
boxes.
That was my old gimmick.
Okay,
Now
let me
it's-
talk to you about this. You have an
All right.
Ouya, right?
Yes.
Okay, Uvu, whatever that thing is.
Yeah.
You have that. You have a Google TV.
I have it.
Okay.
Or no, did have, not
Okay,
anymore.
you have a Fire TV.
Yeah, 2 of them.
2 of them. You have an Apple TV.
About 3 of them.
You have a Chromecast.
About 2 of them.
Am I missing? You have a Roku.
No, do not have a Roku.
Ever?
Ever.
Oh wow, that's actually
Did
shocking.
not. I had a Boxy Box,
You had a
Don't
Boxy
forget.
box.
but an experimental
wow.
version.
Yeah,
I think that's it.
that's about it. So you pretty much had every single one that's come out
Yeah.
in the last 5
so
years.
I finally stopped that behavior because I realized it was a problem, and I realized you need to just pick one and go with it.
Yeah.
So I've the most happy I've been is with my Fire TV.
Yeah, so have I. Yeah, and John, you too, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's funny, right? Because everybody likes to crap on the Fire TV, and I've been the happiest on the Fire TV.
because
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
that
I
quad.
also have a Roku. I mean, I don't have nearly as many as Colm does, but I also have a Roku, and I would pick the Fire TV over the Roku.
It's that quad core I think really makes a difference for me.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It gives you a little bit more control. It's not as sluggish. Listen, it's all going to come to an end when
It's
Apple
got a
TV
better
releases a new
interface
one.
too.
No, it's a
It
pretty
does.
interface. You know what? The interface is kind of similar to what Android TV is doing, and I was actually shocked that all these people that were dying for Google TV. I mean, a lot of people, and I was in that boat. You know, I was a fan of the fact that it went through a pass-through, and it used one HDMI port instead of 2, and it was actually phenomenal. And they just didn't do anything, and Android TV is kind of sucking in the same
Google
sense.
has this problem. This is Google's problem is that they want to do everything under the sun, but they don't want to necessarily finish anything. They want to throw everything out there and see what sticks, and they don't want to put anything. They don't want to put enough into anything to actually see and carry it through. Like Android TV is
I see
not
what you're
necessarily
saying.
a bad idea. It's just that every attempt that they've done done such a pitiful attempt that they don't back it up enough. They just do the bare minimum to actually get the product out there, and that just really is not enough for most consumers out there to be interested in. This
Yeah.
is the same problem that they had with that Q or Cube thing that they
Oh,
tried to
God.
do.
Yeah,
that weird
Bowling
thing.
ball thing.
The ball
Yeah.
thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
That was such a weird thing that for them to do, and they didn't even really come out with it.
No.
And it's just like they do so much that they just don't focus enough on any one thing.
Since we're on the topic of these set-top boxes, a little plug for the GFK network. You could pretty much watch us anywhere and everywhere. If you have a Roku, we have a Roku channel that has our live stream now working on Roku. All our podcasts are available in video form right now. We're also on the Fire TV, which you can watch live on the Fire TV newly released app. It's really well done. They put a lot of work into it. They updated it for us with the live stream and all the latest artwork. You could download it on the Fire TV. You could also download it on Android TV. I don't know who has Android TV. Probably our downloads are minuscule on that platform, but I've been, we're trying to expand. Also, our app for Android and tablets, all Android tablets, should be out today or sometime next week. So you could follow us there too. Oh, also Apple TV. You can watch us live on Apple TV, and I just discovered this through the Daily Motion app. I had no idea, and it works great. So if you want to watch us live, watch on Daily Motion on Apple TV. Google also is jumping into the VR platform. They spent a lot of time at the end on this.
Ugh.
They spent a lot of time on this VR stuff, and they showed, those hundreds of GoPros that were attached all around, and I think it's cool. Like, I really do. I think that there's something to this, right? Like, there's a cool factor here, but it's just too much time you're wasting on something. It is novel, and you know what? It may be something
last year at Google I/O, they came out with this cardboard, a do-it-yourself headset. And this year they've come out with an improved version, and it now supports screens up to 6 inches. And the Cardboard SDK now supports iOS, which is neat, nice, and everything. But really, how is this really that much different than Google Glass? It's the same. It's got the same freaking issues as Google Glass,
just a little bigger.
Like I said, it's one of those products where Google throws it out there to see how much of it sticks. Tries to do a lot of experimentation with it, but then ultimately just lets it die.
I don't know anybody that's actually. I mean, did you get the cardboard? Did anybody get the cardboard? Josh, did you get it? I know you got it. I know you got it.
I want contact lenses. When they have contact lenses, I can put it and have a heads-up display. Then you got me. That's what I want because I'm not gonna look like an idiot.
Yeah, like I want
cardboard on my face.
I want Google Contacts where I could put it on, and I could put it on like Goblin mode where everybody just looks like a goblin.
Fine.
I just want to walk around in World of Warcraft, and I'm fighting orcs and goblins.
Right.
That's what I want.
No, the only thing that came out though with those Google Cardboard things is that they have a new program called Google Expeditions that if you're a teacher, you should definitely sign up for your school because Google sends you this case full of these cardboard glasses and phones. So you can say, okay, class, today we're going to the Great Wall of China. And as the teacher's teaching about it, the kids are looking around and seeing the things she's talking about. So I think that's an incredible thing to have for kids and learning and education. So
yeah,
it's a novelty. I mean, how's that going to help us in the real world? I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, also, thanks, producer in my ear. Let's talk about Brillo for a second.
Yes, Project Brillo, which is their slimmed down version of Android for the Internet of Things types of devices, which are like your light bulbs, your thermostats, your doorbells, so that sort of stuff. So this is basically just a slimmed down version of Android that fits on those types of devices.
And this is
it also
interesting.
comes with Weave that goes along with Brillo and serves as the communications layer that allows the Internet of Things devices to talk to one another.
So this is, I guess this is going to be the future of home automation, right? You're going to have a platform that's going to pick one. Microsoft is doing the same thing with their Internet of Things version of Windows. So essentially it's like core Windows 10, but you could pretty much program it to run on anything and everything, like a Raspberry Pi, for example. I got a cough, man.
Wait, I have Amazon's version of this. I haven't even told you about this.
No, what do you have?
I have an Alexa in my kitchen.
The Alexa.
The Amazon Echo thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is changed. How do I explain that? That changed morning iPad time, I guess, dramatically for me. It's changed a lot of the way I live my life in a way because I can say, Alexa, put eggs on my shopping list. And it'll go, I've added eggs to your shopping list. And the Amazon Echo app has a shopping list with everything. So me and my wife have an ongoing shopping list. I can set timers with it. I can say, Wikipedia, Vince McMahon. And she'll give me the full saying of who Vince McMahon is. I can ask what the weather is, the top news stories. She'll run them down. I can say, play the happy song. And it'll say, and play Pharrell's song. I am amazed at this basic technology and how it's going to get better and better. And the way I'm bringing this up with Project Brillo is that it works with these Belkin Wemos I have all over my house. So I can say, Alexa, turn on my master bedroom light. And then blink, the light comes on. I can turn off the master bedroom light. It works with my alarm.com system. So I can say, Alexa, arm my alarm. And it'll arm my alarm. It is, I should do a whole video on it.
You really should, yeah.
It's so amazing.
These internet things type of devices, I think, are really interesting. I think we're still very much in the infancy where some stuff works, but it's still very much cobbling together stuff and doesn't necessarily work great. You got to be an enthusiast, much like Colm is, in order for
Yes.
all this to work together and work.
It took a
well.
lot to set it up.
Yeah.
To be honest, yeah.
Well, okay, so
But
I
I
have a
think
question
over
for you,
the next
Josh.
5 years, we're going to see a lot more of these devices, and I think Project Brillo is a very exciting thing to see if Google actually puts some weight behind it and actually carries it out to market properly.
Okay, so I have a question for you, Josh.
Yes.
With those Wemos, right?
Yes.
How do you control lighting fixtures that aren't like plugged into the wall?
You have to then they have a switch one.
And how does that work?
You would basically switch out the switch.
What do you?
And then it talks to the app.
Okay.
Yeah, that one you have to do it that way.
Okay.
Right.
So okay,
But,
that makes sense.
Check out that Amazon Echo. I bought it in November and got it in May. So
Do you remember? Do you know what the problem is going to be when we do that home automation, the Internet of Things? So, by the way, also they brought up some examples of having a refrigerator running Brillo, having
Right.
where it scans everything in the fridge so it knows when it's out, and you could just order it or go and get it. An oven that's connected, a toaster that's connected. It's these stupid little tiny things that you're thinking, but it's going to lead into something much larger.
I mean,
Yes,
the basic
agreed.
idea is there. It's
Yeah.
just putting everything together in a package that actually works well. I mean, we're very much still experimenting with all of this stuff. Nothing necessarily works as well as, the revolution that we saw with the iPhone.
Yeah.
I'm not in some sci-fi movie where it's 2072 and I'm like, "Welcome home, Josh," and then everything turns on. And,
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
2072, that's the
idea
year?
right there. But
2072.
we're far from that still.
Apple, Google Payments, Google Pay was
Android Pay.
Android Pay. I'm sorry, was
This
also
world
discussed.
is so wide open. Go ahead.
Yeah. Go ahead, John. Why don't you bring this up?
Go ahead, Josh.
Go ahead.
Well, I'm just worried about. I mean, we just talked about a great sponsor of the show, and they're another solution here. So where we go, I want to hear more of what you guys have to say because, I don't know what to pick now because we have Apple
Basically,
Pay.
Android Pay is Google Wallet rebranded and improved
Yeah.
the features that are virtually identical to Apple Pay. It supports NFC-based payments. You can add credit and debit cards. It has fingerprint ID identification support. It has the virtual temporary account numbers, just like Apple Pay. It's interesting. There's really no deviation or improvement based on what Apple Pay actually is. Android Pay will actually support over 700,000 retailers and businesses that accept contactless payments such as American Eagle, Bloomingdale's, McDonald's, Macy's, Staples, Target, and Walgreens.
I mean, I understand the point of this. I understand it, but you still need to take your phone out. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a
this is very
convenience
interesting
thing.
because Google actually has something that they did not announce necessarily during their keynote that kind of goes along with this. They have another payment software coming out called Hands Free that I read about today. And there's really no details on this other than the fact that their promise is that you're basically just going to say, I want to pay with Google, and everything's okay. And that's how you pay. You just say, I want to pay with Google, and somehow
It knows.
it knows.
Interesting.
I mean, I watched the video for it. It was very weird, and basically the promo video that they have for this software is just complete marketing, where it's just people fumbling around with their wallets and change and money and all that stuff. Right. And then you see a mom with a baby on her and another kid, and she just says, "I want to pay with Google," and that's that.
How
So
diverse
there's
was the video on a scale of 1 to
Very
10?
little information about how this is actually going to work, how it's actually going to be secure, but they're calling it hands-free, and basically it's going to be an improvement upon this whole Android Pay and Apple Pay model.
Josh, your opinion on this?
I'm asking you guys because where are we supposed to go when all this is going and there's just all the different ones that have your credit cards and all different ones? It needs to be, okay, I go to Trader Joe's. All right, you owe $15. And I take my thumb and go, there you go. Or I say, approved Josh Coleman. And then that's it. You know?
I don't know. I as long as we're not paying with cash, I'm happy because I absolutely hate cash.
It's dirty for you.
Disgusting. Filthy. Filthy things just crawling all over it.
You love brand new hundreds, though.
I do like hundreds, yes.
Brand
Who
new.
doesn't? The brand new ones, just crispy.
Right.
I'm curious about what they're going to do with this hands-free thing, because they talked so much about Apple Pay, and then they just now announce that they've got this hands-free coming out, but they really don't have any information about it other than announcing that it's going to be hands-free. So it'll be very interesting to see what they have and how they secure something like that.
The other problem is getting
do
retailers
it.
and restaurants to implement this.
Yeah. Well, it's got to be ubiquitous.
Yeah.
It's got to be the same as taking out your debit or credit card, swiping it, and that's it.
Right.
The problem
and
is
you don't
that-
want the cashier like explaining, okay, here you go, sir. You need to take out your phone now. Hit the thing right here and then touch it to the they can't spend time doing
But
that.
it goes further than that. That the retailer and business has to actually support that.
Yeah, and
True.
Most still don't. You're still going, okay, well, does my bank, my financial institution, my credit card, does it support Apple Pay? Can I put that in Apple Pay or Android Pay? And then is the business that I'm going to support NFC payments?
yeah,
And that's the struggle for me. It's like, okay, well, there's so many hurdles there. Not only do I need to have, a bank or credit card company that supports adding my credit card and debit card to Apple Pay or Android Pay, but I also have to figure out what business it is that I'm going to,
Right.
whether or not I can do Android Pay with them.
yeah.
And
it's hard.
it's such a guessing game. They say 700,000, but until it's as universal as taking out your credit card or debit card and swiping it, it's just not there.
I'm just
I agree
curious,
with you.
I'm just curious how you're going to get restaurants to implement this. Like I've gone to a bunch of restaurants. I mean, I eat out a lot, and there have been times that their credit card machine is down and they don't have a backup solution. They don't even have a PayPal or a Square. And if they can't implement something simple like that as a backup, I don't think
what
companies
they
are going
can
to
do
upgrade.
is, I think if they have devices similar to an iPhone that support this, maybe they can have some sort of application on their Android phone or iPhone. They can have a couple of them for their business or restaurant that support this, and that's what they use.
Yeah, interesting.
They just bring out their Android device or their iPhone or iPad.
Yeah. Hey,
This is a
John,
weird time.
yeah. Why don't we talk about Lenovo unveiled a Chromecast competitor?
Yeah, they unveiled and launched the Lenovo Cast, which is a $49 Chromecast competitor, but it differs a lot from the Chromecast in the sense that other than plugging it into your HDMI port, that's about where it ends. It taps into your DNLA or Miracast-enabled smartphone, tablet, or laptop to output 1080p video to a big screen. And it also supports dual-frequency Wi-Fi, 5 gigahertz and 2.4 gigahertz, which is pretty cool because there's a lot of devices out there that have Wi-Fi but only support 2.4 gigahertz.
So, but this device is gonna Miracast, I guess, your desktop and not the browser.
It's a DNLA Miracast device.
Yeah. Interesting.
Which it even though that's a much smaller market still, it has broader applications in the sense that there are more supported devices out there, not just whatever Chromecast supports, because Chromecast is proprietary.
Yeah, and it doesn't have apps. It's just casting whatever's on your screen.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's one of those things where I'm thinking, do we really need another Miracast dongle out there? And quite honestly, I don't think we do.
Too much.
You've got the big three out there. You've got the Roku, you got the Fire TV, and you got Apple TV.
Yeah.
Right now, Fire TV is where it's at, in my opinion, and I think Roku and Apple TV can come back with some other stuff, but I think Fire TV is a really interesting device, and you can do a lot with it still.
Yes, like install Kodi on it or XBMC.
Yep. Which you can't do with any other device.
You cannot do it, and then you could.
You can't silo labs with any other device unless you jailbreak the Apple TV.
I showed Josh what I was doing on it, and he was blown away.
Blown away. Makes me angry that I don't have that.
He's gonna bring his Fire TV next time he comes up, so I'm gonna have to set it up for him.
I
might
don't
just use the
understand
Amazon
why
one.
Lenovo is doing this, because I don't see the appeal of it whatsoever. This
Yeah.
is the same stuff as the Intel Compute Stick.
Yeah, it's just another device.
It's just another one of those devices that eventually nobody's going to buy, and it's just going to fade away.
Well, I heard rumors, and Seattle Mike brought it up in the chat room, that Roku's considering doing casting.
Oh,
And that would be great. I mean, you can't do it on Amazon, which I don't know why you can't. All these devices should be able to do casting.
Yeah, well, Roku does that to a degree already. You can open the Roku app on your iPhone or Android, and whatever media that you have on your device, you can cast right to your Roku.
But not from a desktop, right?
Not from a desktop, no.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
But like the other day, I went to the Motor City Comic Con, and I wanted to show some photos on my TV to my family. And all I did was open up the Roku app and went to my photos, and that was that.
That's actually really cool. That's excellent.
You can do the same thing with videos, which is really nice.
Charter and Time Warner agree to a $55 billion merger. The Comcast merger did not happen. And I guess this was plan B for Time Warner, right?
It worked out good for them because Comcast was only offering $45 billion.
Yeah.
They're getting $55 billion from Charter.
Yeah, this would make Charter and Time Warner. Well, Charter was what, number 3 or 4, and now the number 2 company now.
Yeah, they were both below Comcast. So
they also will be renaming the company.
ooh, really? Can you give me a name as a contact there? Anyone know?
Yeah, they're renaming the company. I don't have the name with me right now. I'm looking at the article and I don't see it in the article. But they said because Charter recently bought another company, and it was going to be the new something. I forgot the name. I got to pull it up here. But I'm surprised. I mean, this is fascinating that Time Warner deal, I guess that's why Time Warner stopped fighting that deal, the Comcast deal, because they knew that they had this better offer with Charter in the back pocket. And this is going to happen, it seems like.
It's great. I want more competition in this space. I don't like how right now where I live, I only have a choice of Fios or Xfinity. Even though, yes, those are two of the best services, but when it comes to customer service, in my opinion, I went with one company other than the other one. But still, they're charging me whatever they want because the other competition is doing the same thing. There's no real get a deal in there.
John, do you think this is a positive or a negative? Because I know a lot of people are vocal against the Comcast merger with Time Warner, but a lot of people are not speaking out to the extent that they were with Comcast about the Charter deal.
I really don't have an opinion on this, on whether it's good or bad, because I think it's one of those things that we're just gonna have to wait and see whether or not. If I had to make a bet, though, I would say that not a whole lot's going to change, if anything at all.
Not in the next 5
Most
years.
places only have one or two companies to choose from. Here, all I've got is Comcast or AT&T. And if I'm talking, high-speed internet, AT&T is not necessarily the best out there. So I'm really only left with Comcast. With AT&T, the fastest I can get is like 45 megabits per second. And that's that. Like, really, that's the fastest you offer?
It's an inferior technology, yeah.
So you can't even compete with Comcast.
I mean, the reality is they can. They're just not opening up the pipe. They could do. I mean, they could give you tremendous.
Well, it's like the fact that there are people out there that want faster than 45 megabits per second down. I'm one of those people, and I'm sure there's other people out there. And Comcast is the only company that seems to be offering anything faster than 45 megabits per second.
Right.
So then the only company that I have to choose from is Comcast.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
AT&T doesn't offer anything faster.
That's why it's terrible.
And by the way, you can't get Time Warner.
Nope.
And you can't get Verizon
I don't know that I
Fios.
would want it, but
it just makes no sense to me that these companies aren't openly competing in each other's
by the way, I
territories.
gotta have a word with Comcast because
Oh, no.
Gosh. At Comcast.
well, I've been trying to get a hold of them, but as you guys know, I moved, and I said I want to disconnect on this date. Well, I got a bill for the month of May, even though I have not been there, I've not lived, and I asked for my service to be disconnected before the month of May.
The boots are shaking. The wrath
That
of
is
John.
so much customer service phone time you have in your future.
Yeah, how much time do you think you're going to spend on the phone with these people? I'm anticipating hours, John.
Oh, God.
Just, what's the worst part? When you've
How
explained
many curse words am I going to say?
The worst is when you explain it and you figured out like the most dumbed down, articulate way to say the problem.
Because
There's no way out of it.
The whole moving process with Comcast is not easy to begin with. They have that stupid commercial that says it's so easy. You just call them and say you want to move and it's like, no, it's not. It's not that easy.
You know what I had happen to me when I got my Samsung Galaxy S6 right here. By the way, one of my favorite phones I've ever had.
Oh, really? I love my iPhone 6.
No,
Plus. It's amazing.
It's really good. I can't say a bad word about this thing. The camera's stellar, actually. When I got this phone, I didn't have that Verizon Edge or whatever they call it.
Oh.
Yeah, I think it's called Edge.
Yeah,
I didn't have like
the
the Edge
upgrade
plan. Yeah.
You have to pay extra to have the Edge?
No. I didn't have it. I just had a regular, 2-year contract, whatever the old contracts were. So when Jess went to go get her iPhone, we actually saved like $20 a month because she went to Edge. And they didn't take anything up front for the phone. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to upgrade. I had an upgrade on one of the phones on my plan, and I explained to them simply how I want to do it. I took the upgrade from one, and I did it all online. I transferred it to the other, and then I upgraded to Edge. Everything went through. Everything was fine until the day the phone gets released, and it's supposed to be out for delivery. They canceled my order. Because they freaked out. They didn't understand what happened. I had to call and explain to them how I did it and why. It was like, oh, well, I can't figure out.
How much did you have to drink during that process?
I was actually at press. I was drinking while I was doing it. And I'm explaining.
Well, there's your
to them.
problem.
No, but John, I'm explaining. Like the first two people, I got it right. They're like, oh, okay, I know what you did here. Okay, hang on. It's not letting me do it. I got to get my manager. And then I explained it again. Like, it was like 5 times I had to explain to these people how to do it. Finally, somebody figured it out. What they actually did was totally cancel everything, upgrade, and then they upgraded the phone that I didn't want to upgrade. They upgraded that one. They're like, yeah, just call us and we'll transfer the upgrade. We'll transfer the phone because we don't know how to do it. Disaster. It took me hours, like 3 hours. So I feel you, John.
Yeah, it's terrible, John.
Awful.
It's such a terrible thing you have to do.
Couple more stories before we wrap it up. Hot Topic is buying ThinkGeek.
Wow, good for them.
I mean, first of all,
that's impressive. Have you guys ordered before from the ThinkGeek?
Yeah, I used to a lot before the whole Amazon craze happened.
Yeah,
I used to order from ThinkGeek all the time for like Christmas gifts. And then I realized what a waste of time it is because you could just buy everything on Amazon. I haven't bought from any other retailer other than Amazon in about 4 years.
Well, I guess Hot Topic wants to be like that nerd shirt company now too, because
They
they are.
do,
If you already
because
go in, you already.
They've kind of had that stuff for a while now. They've really wanted to move into that market.
I mean, is anybody going to Hot Topic?
I don't think they care about actual store places anymore, do they?
Other than a girl that hates her father.
Well,
oh, God, sorry.
Like, who's going to Hot Topic and buying stuff?
a friend of mine buys a lot of geeky T-shirts and stuff.
Yeah, I guess you can get that.
I used to do that.
Apparently, she had went to Hot Topic to buy a shirt, online. I mean, and they took her money and everything and said that it was going to ship in such and such date. It never shipped, and apparently they never had that in stock. And it took her 3 months to get a refund from Hot Topic because they didn't have the shirt.
I'm
stock.
in the nerd shirt business.
Sold her.
Yeah, you are into nerd shirts.
I'm in the business.
Yeah, you are.
I understand about how to sell them.
You make brony shirts.
Do you know denied for BronyCon this year? Apparently,
What? You can't do it anymore?
that's over.
You're banned.
I guess they didn't like us. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy how cheap you can get these shirts made, and that they're selling them at these stores or online. At least, I guess they're usually around $20 a shirt.
Yeah.
When they're probably getting it made for $5.
I mean, I guess they've really changed their brand, Hot Topic, and it makes sense to buy this company because I'm looking at their website and it's nothing like it used to be.
The only thing with Hot Topic is their customer service sucks.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's the only thing. I mean, the fact that they sold my friend a T-shirt that they never had in stock.
That's amazing.
How the hell do you do that and then fight with the customer for 3 months over a refund for a product that you never had in stock?
That's amazing.
Oh God.
I'm looking at Hot Topic right now. This website is atrocious.
Oh, it's horrible. I've been to their website. It's just so dated, slow, and crappily made.
Yeah. So I guess ThinkGeek and Hot Topic going to become, I guess, I don't know, maybe they'll keep the company separate. You know what? ThinkGeek had like really good, wacky, like knickknacks.
No.
You know what I mean?
Twitch will buy them, which is owned by Amazon, and then all of it'll be in Amazon.
Like
that's gonna happen.
Yeah, like everything they have is on Amazon. So why does somebody they would have like a cube that changes colors?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like a cube or a
They
Pac-Man
have
ghost lamp.
Frodo's walking stick.
No, you know what? Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Frodo's walking stick for $120.
Yeah, right.
A USB-powered oven.
The original blade from The Witcher 3.
That's exactly what they do. It's
I used
amazing.
to be wanted so bad. I wanted one of those portal guns, and now that I think about it, I'm like, that thing would be in my basement right now. Because what would I do with that? A grown man with a portal gun on his desk.
The Captain America Age of Ultron backpack, $60. Okay, I'm just gonna go down this list here. This Walking Dead zombie string lighting, $24.
See,
I'm
I'm not
not
hating on
you know,
it.
you
I think
can't
this
knock
stuff
The
is
Walking
great.
Dead.
You know, that's cool. I mean, listen, some of this stuff is pretty
It's great.
cool. I mean,
I definitely think it's great. It's just not for me now.
yeah, you're not 18 years old anymore.
I'm not 18 anymore. Or 20s. I'm in my definitely in your 20s and early 30s.
Yeah, a flex capacitor USB charger.
I don't know about that, Colm. I question that about you almost every
Here's
week,
what it is.
so.
But so guess, here's what it is. My Disney Infinity showed me I had a huge addiction, and then I needed to really reassess what I'm spending my money on. And Disney Infinity figures was not a good idea.
Here's the thing. If I'm looking here, a USB squirming tentacle. It's a tentacle. It's a USB stick that also has a tentacle that squirms around while it's plugged in. Who's buying this?
And how are you using that more than 5 minutes in your life? You're gonna do it one time and then it's over, right?
No, it's just gonna constantly squirm. Constantly.
Enough.
Oh no! Amazing. John, any more stories you got here?
There's
have
one
one.
more if you want to go into
Yeah, go
it.
ahead.
It's that there's been new words added to the Merriam-Webster dictionary.
Uh-oh.
WTF, clickbait, and emoji have been added to Merriam-Webster's dictionary of words.
WTF is not a word.
No, it's not. It's an acronym.
It's an acronym. What if
I heard-
is not the word? You can't have an I don't understand it. Among
Totes
them,
amazeballs.
here's more. Ready? Net neutrality, click fraud, meme, photobomb, NSFW. What word did we take out before? Non-technical words also made their way, including jeggings,
What?
I think it's
crema,
just showing that mankind is getting dumber. Is what this is
and here's
showing.
another one: colossal squid. But those are two words combined into one. Colossal is a word, and squid is a word. Colossal squid is not a word.
This is all just marketing for them to try and sell more dictionaries.
Who's buying dictionary? When is the last time someone went into a store and bought a dictionary?
Not a clue.
It's like the Encyclopedia Britannica.
Encyclopedias.
They used to come to your door and try to sell them. I'll never forget
Somebody
it.
who really loves to play Scrabble.
Yeah, I guess so. So 1,700 terms, new words and terms added.
Totes
and
amazeballs. Did you know that one?
WTF, clickbait, and emoji. You know what, though? Emoji makes sense. Clickbait makes sense. WTF does not make sense. GFQ
It's for
should
these
be in the
people that are in
dictionary.
their 60s, 70s trying to figure out technology, and they have to buy a dictionary to figure out what all this stuff is.
It's amazing.
What's an emoji?
Amazing.
Amazing. Totes amazeballs.
Yeah. Curtis B in our chat room says, concerning the squid, I think it's a new species. I have no excuse for jeggings.
Yeah.
Or jort. How about jort? Jean shorts.
Oh,
Jort should be on it. Amazing. Amazing.
With a picture of Stone Cold as the example.
Exactly. Exactly. Hey, guys, go to our website, gfknetwork.com. Subscribe to the podcast. Download the podcast. Now that we got an advertiser, guys, you got to go and download the podcast here. Go download the podcast. Also, if you want to fund us, you want to help us out, throw us a couple bucks, a couple pennies, a couple quarters. Go to patreon.com/whatthetech. That's patreon.com/whatthetech. Our Patreon campaign is there. And you can fund us anything you want. And in return, John will come to your house and call up Comcast for you. That's what we're doing
Certainly.
now. Also, if you don't want to tip in, no worries. You can still help us. You can still support us. Go to Amazon. I'm sorry, what's the URL, John? gfq.co/Amazon. There you go. gfq.co/Amazon. And whenever you make a purchase, bookmark it. Whenever you make a purchase, we get a tiny little credit from every sale. And it really helps us out whenever we're doing upgrades here because I got to get a new production machine. I need to get a new camera. John needs a new camera because his is obviously broken and it's flickering now. Look at that. So
It looks like a fan.
So actually, I'm going to buy John a new camera, and the way I'm going to do it is with that Amazon credits that I've had building up. So, thank you. Any other plugs? Let me see. Josh.
Yes.
Culmination on Twitter.
Yes.
Anything else?
Culmination on Periscope.
Are you on Periscope right now?
No, I was before the show. I did a thing while I was doing notes, and a few people came in.
I was watching him drive to a meeting today.
I did
Yeah.
too. I watched
It was
it
the
too.
weirdest thing ever.
Yeah, I'm gonna start doing it. I'm a little
So
jelly.
it's
from
fun.
it.
I like Michael just told me about it on. We did a show for the T4 show, which I still do with Michael. We
You're
talked
still on
about
that show?
still on that show.
Oh, okay.
I do a Nationals review podcast too. If you're into the Washington Nationals, which since we're
Gross.
GFQ right now, it's not you Mets fans. Anyway, yeah, Periscope. You all should check it out. And if you follow me, Culmination. I think it's the same with Twitter.
Suncast on Twitter, obviously, to follow John. Mostly John's Twitter is filled with him disliking reality TV and competition. It's just him crapping. He's like, oh, Suzanne, she should have been eliminated 10 weeks ago.
It's true.
Oh god, my biggest thing right now is Big Brother UK.
Big Brother, yeah, you're a
love
big
that
Big
shit
Brother
right
fan.
now.
We should bring back that show, Big Brother.
It starts June 24th, the American one.
I can't do the American version of Big Brother.
You know, it's scary because we were like the #1 Big Brother podcast and we killed it because we're not enjoying it anymore.
I loved it.
It's not enjoyable.
I know.
I still am always in.
I know. All right, guys, that's it for this week. You can follow me on Twitter at Andrew Zarian. You can follow the GFQ Network at GFQ Network, and we'll see y'all next week. Thanks, Braintree, for supporting the show. Good night.